The massive cargo shuttle descended through Earth's atmospheric layers, its metallic hull gleaming under the early morning sunlight. Inside the diplomatic processing center, Captain Ji-hoon Park stood with his usual composed demeanor, reviewing the day's incoming diplomatic transfers. A peculiar container caught his attention. Unlike standard diplomatic shipments, this one bore unique quantum-sealed markings that suggested an origin far beyond typical interstellar protocols. The container was approximately 1 meter tall, crafted from an iridescent metallic alloy that seemed to shimmer and change color subtly as light struck its surface. The diplomatic courier, a tall humanoid with pale blue skin, presented the official documentation. His movements were precise, almost mechanical, as he handed Ji-hoon a data crystal containing the shipping manifest. Special diplomatic transfer from the Orion Quadrant, the courier stated flatly, his voice devoid of emotion. Ji-hoon's fingers traced the container's sealed edges. Something about this shipment felt different. His years of diplomatic service had taught him to recognize unusual circumstances, and this transfer radiated an unusual energy. The processing room was unusually quiet. Typically, such deliveries would generate excitement or curiosity among staff. But today, an inexplicable silence hung in the air. Technological scanners hummed softly, their holographic displays flickering with complex data streams that analyzed every microscopic detail of the container. As protocol demanded, Ji-hoon initiated the standard verification procedures. Quantum. Encryption keys were matched, biometric signatures cross-referenced, and dimensional stability confirmed. Each step revealed nothing extraordinary, yet something continued to feel peculiar. The container itself seemed to have a subtle vibration, almost like a heartbeat. Microscopic energy signatures danced along its surface, suggesting advanced technological systems far beyond current human understanding. Ji-hoon recognized these signatures as characteristic of advanced xenotechnology, systems designed to preserve and protect living entities across vast interstellar distances. When the final verification completed, a soft click echoed through the processing chamber. The container's quantum seals began to dissolve, revealing a controlled internal environment that seemed to exist in a state between solid matter and pure energy. Slowly, a form began to materialize. First, a silhouette emerged, humanoid yet distinctly alien. Soft blue-tinted skin became visible, followed by delicate features that suggested youth and vulnerability. The figure appeared to be a young female, suspended in what seemed like a sophisticated stasis field. Her eyes were closed, but even in suspended animation, she radiated an unusual sense of presence. Intricate bioluminescent patterns traced her skin, changing colors and intensity in complex, mesmerizing patterns. These were no mere decorative markings, but appeared to be some form of complex biological communication system. Attached to the container was a data module. Ji-hoon carefully extracted it, his hands moving with practiced precision. The module contained detailed documentation, legal agreements, genetic profiles, and a cryptic message from an entity identified only as the Orion Baron. The message was brief but intriguing. Preserve, protect. The future depends on her survival. No additional context was provided. No explanation of her origins, purpose, or the reasons behind this extraordinary diplomatic transfer. Just those few enigmatic words that suggested immense complexity behind this seemingly simple delivery. Ji-hoon studied the sleeping figure. She couldn't be more than 17 or 18 by human standards, yet something in her presence suggested ages of accumulated knowledge. Her breathing was slow and controlled, indicating advanced metabolic regulation technologies keeping her in perfect biological suspension. The diplomatic processing center's ambient temperature seemed to shift subtly. Technological systems adjusted themselves around the container, creating a perfect environmental bubble that would maintain her current state of suspended animation. As Ji-hoon continued his careful examination, he couldn't shake the feeling that this was more than a standard diplomatic transfer. This was the beginning of something significant, a moment that would potentially alter the course of human-alien interactions forever. The young alien girl remained motionless, her existence a mystery waiting to be unraveled, her arrival marking the start of an extraordinary journey that neither she nor Ji-hoon could yet comprehend. The data module revealed fragments of a complex story, piece by piece. Jisoo, the young alien, belonged to a civilization that once dominated, the distant Orion Quadrant. Her people, known as the Luminari, had developed technologies that blurred the lines between biological existence and pure energy. Centuries ago, the Luminari civilization stood as a beacon of advanced scientific achievement. Their society operated on principles of collective consciousness, where individual thoughts merged into a vast neural network. But like many advanced civilizations, internal conflicts began to tear them apart. A devastating civil war erupted, driven by fundamental disagreements about technological evolution. One faction believed in complete technological integration, wanting to transform their species into pure energy beings. Another group argued for preserving biological essence and resisting total technological transformation. Jisoo was born during the final stages of this conflict. Her genetic lineage traced back to the ruling scientific council, making her a potential key to her civilization's survival. Her parents, both leading researchers, had implemented unique genetic modifications that gave her extraordinary adaptive capabilities. When the Civil War reached its most destructive phase, Jisoo's parents made an impossible decision. They encoded her genetic information with advanced preservation protocols and arranged for her extraction from the conflict zone. The Orion Baron, a mysterious diplomatic entity, agreed to orchestrate her safe passage. The transfer wasn't just a simple diplomatic move. It was a complex strategy to preserve the potential of an entire civilization through a single individual. Jisoo carried within her genetic structure not just biological information, but entire databases of luminary knowledge and technological understanding. Captain Ji-hoon discovered that the stasis field wasn't merely a preservation technique, it was a sophisticated learning environment. Even in suspended animation, Jisoo's neural pathways were actively processing and adapting to new information. The container itself was a living learning system designed to prepare her for an unknown future. The documentation suggested that the Orion Baron had carefully selected Earth as her destination. Humans represented a young, adaptable species with potential for rapid technological growth. The Baron's cryptic message about preservation wasn't just about Jisoo's survival, but potentially about seeding advanced knowledge into a developing civilization. Genetic scans revealed extraordinary modifications. Jisoo's cellular structure could adapt to multiple environmental conditions. Her neural network suggested capabilities far beyond human understanding, the ability to process complex information at speeds that would appear instantaneous to human perception. Diplomatic records indicated that this transfer was part of a larger, more complex interstellar strategy. The Luminary civilization, even in its fractured state, had been observing human technological development for decades. Jisoo was more than a refugee. She was a potential bridge between two vastly different civilizations. The quantum encryption surrounding her personal history was designed to gradually unlock. Each stage of her adaptation would reveal more about her origins, her capabilities, and the complex world she had left behind. It was a carefully constructed puzzle, meant to be solved over time. Ji-hoon realized that the responsibility placed upon him was enormous. He wasn't just dealing with a diplomatic transfer or a refugee. He was now the guardian of potentially the most important scientific and cultural resource ever delivered to human civilization. The stasis field continued to pulse with soft, rhythmic energy. Occasional flickers of blue-green light danced across Jisoo's skin, suggesting complex internal processes. Her breathing remained steady, her body temperature perfectly regulated by the advanced technological environment. As the data continued to unfold, more questions emerged than answers. Why her? Why now? What specific role was she meant to play in the larger interstellar context? The Orion Baron's motivations remained tantalizingly unclear, leaving Ji-hoon to piece together a complex narrative. One thing became increasingly clear. Jisoo's arrival was not a random event. It was a carefully calculated move in a game of interstellar diplomacy and technological evolution that humans were only beginning to understand. The container hummed softly, a technological heartbeat that seemed to whisper of possibilities yet to be explored, of knowledge waiting to be unlocked, and of a future that would challenge everything humans thought they knew about their place in the universe. The moment Jisoo's eyes opened, the room's atmospheric pressure subtly changed. Her first breath wasn't a gasp, but a calculated intake of environmental data. Jihoon watched carefully as her iridescent eyes scanned the diplomatic processing center, absorbing every minute detail with impossible speed. Her initial language adaptation happened within minutes. Neural implants integrated with the room's communication systems, translating complex linguistic patterns almost instantaneously. She spoke first in mathematical equations, then gradually transformed them into structured human language. Environmental calibration, 78.3% complete, she stated, her voice a melodic blend of technological precision and unexpected warmth. Jihoon noticed how her skin changed colors slightly with each spoken word, a biological communication method, far beyond human understanding. The adaptation process was anything but smooth. Sometimes Jisoo would suddenly freeze, her body processing massive amounts of information. Other times she would ask questions that demonstrated both childlike curiosity and advanced scientific comprehension. Your species communicates through verbal and non-verbal signals, she observed one morning, watching Jihoon's facial expressions. Approximately 67% of human communication happens through body language. Fascinating inefficiency. Jihoon's team of xenobiologists and linguistic experts studied her constantly. They discovered that Jisoo didn't just learn, she reconstructed entire knowledge systems. When introduced to human history, she didn't merely memorize facts, but created complex, interconnected understanding frameworks. Her physical adaptation was equally remarkable. Human food initially seemed toxic to her system, but her cellular structure rapidly developed metabolic strategies to process Earth's nutritional resources. Within weeks, she could consume standard human meals without any technological assistance. Training scenarios revealed extraordinary capabilities. During a simulated crisis management exercise, Jisoo demonstrated strategic thinking that combined intuitive human problem-solving with advanced computational analysis. Military strategists were both impressed and slightly unnerved. Cultural integration proved challenging. Human emotional complexities confused her logical processing. Humor, sarcasm, and emotional nuances required extensive computational modeling. She would often ask Jihoon to explain seemingly simple social interactions. "Why do humans laugh when experiencing emotional discomfort?" she once asked, tilting her head with mechanical precision. "The biochemical response seems counterproductive to stress management." Jihoon realized she wasn't just learning human culture. She was systematically decoding it, breaking down complex social systems into understandable algorithmic patterns. Her approach was scientific, yet there was an underlying sense of genuine curiosity. Physical training revealed another layer of her extraordinary nature. Traditional human exercise methods seemed primitive to her. She developed personalized training protocols that optimized biological performance through precise neural-muscular coordination. Technological interfaces responded to her presence in unexpected ways. Computer systems would occasionally reconfigure themselves when she was nearby, as if her neural network communicated with machine infrastructures on a fundamental level. Her sleeping patterns were equally unusual. Instead of continuous rest, she would enter short, intense regeneration cycles. These periods looked like meditation to human observers, but were actually complex information processing and cellular restoration sessions. Psychological evaluations showed that while she understood human emotions intellectually, experiencing them remained a complex challenge. She would analyze emotional responses with scientific detachment, yet occasionally display moments of surprising empathy. As weeks passed, Jisoo transformed from a mysterious alien transfer to something more, a potential bridge between human limitations and extraordinary possibilities. Her presence challenged fundamental understanding of intelligence, adaptation, and interspecies communication. Jihoon watched her practice human social interactions, her movements becoming more fluid, her responses more nuanced. She was learning, evolving, transforming, not just adapting to human civilization, but potentially preparing to reshape it. The Diplomatic Processing Center had become more than a research facility. It was now a crucible of possibility, where an alien girl was slowly, methodically learning to understand a species that was simultaneously fascinating and frustratingly complex to her advanced perception. Her journey of adaptation had only just begun. The first warning came as a subtle electromagnetic disturbance. Orbital tracking systems detected unusual energy signatures approaching Earth's outer defensive perimeter. Jisoo was the first to recognize the threat, her body responding milliseconds before human sensors could process the incoming data. Probability of hostile encounter, 92.7%, she announced, her eyes shifting to a deep metallic blue. A color change that Jihoon had learned indicated heightened analytical state. The diplomatic research facility immediately transitioned into high alert protocol. 3 massive shadow vessels emerged from quantum-fold space, their hull designs suggesting technology from the fractured regions of Jisoo's original civilization. These were not random attackers but a calculated retrieval mission. Someone wanted her back and they were prepared to destroy everything in their path. Planetary defense systems activated, massive energy shields rippled across Earth's orbital zone, creating a complex defensive grid. But Jisoo knew these defenses were primitive compared to the technological capabilities of the approaching vessels. They will attempt electromagnetic pulse disruption, she told Jihoon, her voice calm and precise. Traditional human defense mechanisms will fail within 7.3 minutes of initial contact. Military strategists gathered around holographic displays, their faces a mixture of tension and determination. Jisoo stood among them, no longer just an observer, but an active participant. Her neural network began interfacing directly with Earth's defensive systems, finding vulnerabilities and creating adaptive countermeasures. The first wave of attack came suddenly. Quantum-based energy weapons struck the outer defensive perimeter, creating massive electromagnetic ripples. Standard computer systems would have collapsed immediately, but Jisoo's interventions created dynamic adaptive responses. Redirecting energy signatures, she muttered, her hands moving across holographic interfaces with impossible speed. Complex mathematical algorithms transformed defensive strategies in real time. What would have taken human strategists hours was accomplished. In seconds, Jihoon watched in awe as Jisoo became the center of Earth's defensive strategy. Her body seemed to resonate with the technological systems around her, creating a living, breathing defensive network that anticipated enemy movements before they happened. The attacking vessels represented a faction from her original civilization, those who believed she contained dangerous knowledge that could destabilize existing power structures. They weren't just trying to capture her, they wanted to ensure that the information she carried would never be shared. Orbital combat became a complex dance of technological capabilities. The alien vessels used advanced quantum weaponry, attempting to create localized space-time disruptions. Jisoo's interventions created counter-frequency patterns that neutralized these attacks. They are using third-generation quantum destabilization protocols, she explained to Jihoon. Typical human defense systems would require 73 years of computational development to counter such techniques. I can neutralize them in approximately 12 minutes. Her confidence wasn't boasting. It was a simple statement of technological capability. Each moment of the conflict revealed more about her extraordinary nature. She wasn't just defending Earth, she was demonstrating the potential of her civilization's technological understanding. The battle moved beyond traditional warfare. It became a complex interaction of technological systems, with Jisoo acting as a living bridge between human defensive capabilities and advanced alien technologies. Planetary leaders watched in real time as a young alien girl systematically dismantled a technologically superior attacking force. Her movements were precise, her strategies unprecedented, She transformed planetary defense from a reactive to a predictive system. After 17 minutes of intense technological conflict, the attacking vessels began to retreat. Their systems had been comprehensively compromised, their strategic advantages neutralized by Jisu's interventions. Ji-hoon realized they had witnessed something extraordinary. This wasn't just a defensive action. It was a demonstration of potential, a glimpse into a future where technological understanding could transcend traditional concepts of conflict and defense. As the last alien vessel disappeared into quantum fold, space, Jisu turned to Ji-hoon. Her eyes had returned to their normal color, but a slight smile suggested something more than simple satisfaction. "Threat neutralized," she said simply. The world changed after the attack. Jisu was no longer just a diplomatic curiosity, but a critical global asset. Governments and scientific institutions worldwide sought to understand her capabilities, while international diplomatic channels buzzed with unprecedented activity. United Nations emergency sessions discussed her status. Was she a refugee, a technological ambassador, a potential weapon? The debates were complex, with each nation presenting different perspectives on her extraordinary existence. Ji-hoon became her primary guardian and interpreter. Their relationship evolved from a diplomatic assignment to something deeper, a partnership that bridged multiple civilizations. She wasn't just learning from humans. She was helping humans understand technological possibilities they had never imagined. Her knowledge transfer programs began transforming multiple scientific disciplines. Medical researchers discovered her genetic databases contained cure protocols for diseases that had challenged human medicine for centuries. Environmental scientists learned advanced planetary restoration techniques that could reverse decades of ecological damage. The Orion Baron's original strategy became clear. Jisu wasn't just a survivor. She was a living library of advanced civilization knowledge. Her genetic structure contained information that could potentially accelerate human technological development by hundreds of years. Technological corporations and research institutions competed for access to her collaborative programs. She didn't choose favorites, but created open-source knowledge platforms that democratized advanced scientific understanding. Universities worldwide started developing new academic disciplines based on her shared knowledge. Her adaptation to human culture continued to surprise everyone. She learned music, appreciated art, and developed a particular fondness for human emotional complexity. While she analyzed emotions scientifically, she also began to genuinely experience them. Military strategists recognized her defensive capabilities as revolutionary. Her ability to interface with technological systems created entirely new concepts of planetary protection. Defense protocols were completely redesigned around her adaptive technological understanding. International diplomatic channels underwent massive transformation. Her presence suggested that interstellar communication wasn't just possible but potentially imminent. She became a living bridge between human limitations and extraordinary potential. Genetic researchers discovered that her cellular structure could provide solutions to human aging, environmental adaptation, and biological enhancement. Her DNA contained repair mechanisms that could potentially extend human life expectancy and improve overall biological resilience. Ji-hoon watched her growth with a mixture of professional fascination and personal pride. She was becoming something more than her original programming, a true collaborative entity that was helping reshape human understanding of technological and biological potential. Her relationship with Earth wasn't just about survival anymore. She was actively contributing to human development, creating collaborative platforms that invited global participation. Scientific barriers began dissolving as her knowledge transfer systems became more sophisticated. The attacking alien faction never returned. Intelligence suggested that Jisu's comprehensive technological defense had demonstrated capabilities so advanced that further confrontation would be strategically impossible. She had effectively neutralized potential future threats through pure technological superiority. Global education systems started developing new curriculum frameworks based on her interdisciplinary approach. Traditional subject boundaries began to blur as her knowledge transfer platforms demonstrated the interconnectedness of scientific disciplines. Her personal growth became a subject of global fascination. Media platforms documented her journey, showing how an alien refugee transformed into a global collaborative partner. She gave occasional public presentations that combined scientific precision with unexpected moments of humor and humanity. Planetary leaders recognized that Jisoo represented more than a technological asset. She was a living demonstration of potential, a bridge between what humanity was and what it could become. Her presence suggested that technological evolution wasn't about replacing human capabilities, but expanding them. As years passed, her impact became increasingly profound. She didn't just contribute to human development, she inspired a new way of thinking about technological and biological potential. Universities, research centers, and innovative platforms emerged worldwide, inspired by her collaborative approach. Jihoon, now her closest human companion, understood that their journey was just beginning. The mysterious Orion Baron's original mission had succeeded beyond any initial expectations. Jisoo wasn't just a survivor or a technological resource. She was the beginning of something extraordinary.